My sister increased my rent from $500 to $5,000 while everyone nodded approvingly. So I pulled out documents showing I've been paying the mortgage on her house for 10 years and called my lawyer. I'd love for you to be part of this family. Subscribe and tell me where you're watching from. I promise your comment doesn't go unseen. The smell of Mama's peach cobbler should have warned me. She only made it when bad news was coming. I walked into Keisha's dining room that Sunday afternoon, and the whole family was already sitting there. Mama, Daddy, my older brother Marcus, and Beverly, even Keisha's husband Devin. They all had that look. You know the one. Like they'd already decided something about your life without asking you first. Sit down, Nia, Keisha said, gesturing to the empty chair. She was wearing her power suit even though it was Sunday. My sister always did that when she wanted to feel important. I sat down slowly, my stomach already twisting. We need to talk about your living situation, Keisha started, folding her hands on the table like she was chairing a board meeting. I'd been living in the basement apartment of this house for 10 years, ever since Keisha bought it. Well, bought is generous. I'll get to that. What about it? I asked, looking around. Nobody would meet my eyes except Devin, who looked uncomfortable. The rent, Keisha said flatly. It's going up. Starting next month, it'll be $5,000 a month. The words hit me like ice water. $5,000? I pay you $500. That's what we agreed on 10 years ago. Things change, Keisha shrugged. Property values have increased. I could rent this space for so much more. I'm actually doing you a favor by keeping it under market rate. Market rate? I wanted to laugh, but my throat was too tight. Baby, you know how expensive everything's gotten, Mama chimed in, reaching for my hand. I pulled back. Keisha's just trying to be smart about her investment. Her investment. The words burned. Marcus nodded along, chewing on a toothpick. Cost of living's going up everywhere, Nia. You can't expect to pay 2015 prices forever. I looked at Aunt Beverly, hoping for an ally. She'd always been the reasonable one. She just sipped her sweet tea and looked away. That's when I knew this was orchestrated. They'd all talked about this before I got here. Probably multiple times. I can't afford $5,000, I said, keeping my voice steady even though my hands were shaking. I make $48,000 a year as a social worker. After taxes, that's barely $3,000 a month. You want me to pay more than my entire paycheck in rent? Keisha leaned back in her chair, examining her nails. Then maybe you need to find a better job. Or roommate. Or move somewhere cheaper. This is my home, I whispered. It's my house, Keisha corrected. And I need to start making real money off it. Devin and I are planning to buy a vacation property in Hilton Head. We need the income. Devin shifted uncomfortably but said nothing. Coward. You've lived here rent-free long enough, Marcus added. Time to step up. Rent-free. The words exploded out of me. I've been paying rent for 10 years. $500 isn't real rent, Keisha said dismissively. That barely covers utilities. Do you know what I could get for a finished basement apartment in this neighborhood? $2,500 minimum. I'm literally losing money by keeping you here. My vision was blurring. 10 years. 10 years of this. So what are you saying? If I can't pay $5,000, I'm out. You've got 60 days, Keisha said. I'm being generous. Legally, I only have to give you 30. Daddy finally spoke up. Now, Keisha, that seems harsh. Stay out of this, Daddy, Keisha snapped. This is business. Nia's an adult. She needs to figure it out. I stood up so fast my chair scraped against the hardwood. Everyone jumped. Business. Right. My voice sounded strange to my own ears. Calm. Too calm. Give me 10 minutes. I need to get something from downstairs. Where are you going? Mama called after me. To get some papers, I said. Important papers. About business. My hands were steady as I unlocked my fireproof safe. 11 years ago everything changed. Mama had called me crying. Keisha wanted to buy a house but couldn't qualify for a mortgage. Her credit was wrecked from maxed-out credit cards and a repossessed BMW. She'd been living beyond her means for years, keeping up appearances. But I'd just started my job. Good credit. Stable income. Modest savings. Please, Nia, Keisha had begged over the phone. I need this. Devin and I are getting married. We need somewhere to start our life. You could help me. You're my baby sister. I'd do it for you. I was 23. Naive. Desperate to be needed by the sister who'd always made me feel invisible. So I did it. I co-signed the mortgage. More than co-signed, the loan was in my name because Keisha couldn't qualify. The agreement was simple. She'd make the payments, build her credit back up, refinance in my name in 5 years. I'd live in the basement for cheap rent until then. That was 11 years ago. She never refinanced. Never even tried. I pulled out the manila folder. Mortgage documents with my signature. Payment history. Every single receipt I'd kept. Bank statements showing the automatic withdrawals from my account. All of it. I walked back upstairs. They were all talking in hushed tones that stopped when I entered. Good. I wanted their attention. I dropped the folder on the table with a satisfying thunk. Papers spilled across Mama's peach cobbler. What's this? Keisha asked, irritation flashing across her face. That, I said, my voice shaking now but strong, is the mortgage for this house. The one that's been in my name for 11 years. The one I've been paying every single month while you collected $500 from me and called it rent. The room went silent. You could have heard a pin drop on that hardwood floor. What are you talking about? Marcus said, reaching for the papers. I pulled out the mortgage document, pointing to my signature. This house isn't in Keisha's name. It's in mine. I bought it because she couldn't qualify for a loan. She was supposed to refinance after 5 years. That was 11 years ago. Keisha's face had gone pale. You said you were helping. I was helping. I cut her off. And I've been helping. Every month. $2,347. Plus taxes. Plus insurance. I pulled out my bank statements, laying them out like playing cards. Mama grabbed the mortgage document, her reading glasses sliding down her nose as she scanned the pages. Nia. This says, your name is on here as the buyer. Because I am the buyer, I said. Keisha couldn't get approved. So we agreed, I'd put it in my name, she'd make the payments and refinance later. Except she never made a single payment. I've been paying the mortgage this entire time. That's not true, Keisha said, but her voice wavered. I paid you. You paid me $500 a month to live in a house I'm paying $2,700 a month for, I said. For 10 years, Keisha. Do the math. That's $220,000 I've paid out while you paid $60,000 and told everyone you owned a house. Devin's eyes went wide. Wait, Keisha. You told me you owned this house outright when we got married. I do own it, Keisha stammered. It's complicated. Nia, you're making this sound worse than it is. How is it worse than it is? I asked. You want to raise my rent to $5,000. On a house that I own. Aunt Beverly set down her teacup with shaking hands. Lord have mercy. You said you wanted to help me, Keisha said, standing up. Her voice was getting higher, more desperate. You offered to co-sign. I did want to help you, I said. And I did help you. For 11 years. But you were supposed to refinance. You were supposed to take over. That was always the plan. I couldn't refinance, Keisha shot back. My credit still isn't good enough. You know how hard it is out here. Your credit isn't good enough because you bought a $60,000 Tesla last year, I said, my voice rising. Because you and Devon take 3 vacations a year. Because you just said you're buying a vacation home in Hilton Head. You have money, Keisha. You've always had money. You just spent it on everything except what you promised. Marcus was reading through the documents now, his face getting darker with each page. Keisha, she's been paying almost $3,000 a month while you charged her $500? She got to live here, Keisha said weakly. That was the deal. The deal was that she'd help you temporarily, Daddy said quietly. He looked 10 years older than he had an hour ago. You told us you bought this house. Did you all know? I asked, looking around the table. Did you know the house was in my name? Silence. Guilty silence. We knew she helped you with the down payment, Mama said quietly. She said she was being generous. There was no down payment, I said. I qualified for a first-time homebuyer loan with 0 down. Because it was in my name. Because I was buying the house. Keisha said it was complicated, Marcus muttered. Legal stuff. Tax reasons. I laughed. Sounded broken. Tax reasons. Right. So you all just went along with it? For 11 years, you watched me pay rent to live in my own house and nobody said anything. We didn't know you were paying the mortgage, Aunt Beverly said. We thought you were just helping out initially. Did you ever ask? I looked at each of them. Did anyone ever ask me directly what the arrangement was? Or did you just believe Keisha because it was easier? No one answered. Devon was staring at his wife like he'd never seen her before. You told me your parents helped you buy this house, he said slowly. Keisha's mask was cracking. It's not that simple, Devon. It seems pretty simple, he said coldly. You know what the worst part is? I said, my voice breaking. I would have done it anyway. If you'd been honest. If you'd said, Nia, I need help longer than we planned, I would have said yes. Because you're my sister. Because family is supposed to help each other. I am your sister, Keisha said, tears starting. That's why you should understand. But you didn't ask, I continued. You just let me keep paying. And paying. And paying. While you told everyone you owned a house. While you drove your Tesla and took your vacations and lived your life. And now you want to charge me $5,000 to live in my own basement. It's my house, Keisha whispered, but the words had no power now. Show me the deed, I said. Show me one document with your name on it. She couldn't. She just stood there, tears running down her face, looking at Mama for help. But Mama was staring at the mortgage documents like they were written in a foreign language. Marcus spoke up. Okay, this is messed up, but y'all are sisters. You can work this out. You got your point across. Maybe we can all calm down. Calm down. I turned on him. You just told me I've been living rent-free. You all sat here and nodded while she tried to push me out of my own house. I pulled out my phone. My hands were shaking again, but this time it was from adrenaline. Power. The feeling of finally standing up after years of being pushed down. What are you doing? Keisha asked. Calling my lawyer, I said. I'd been seeing Angela Morrison for 6 months now, getting advice, preparing for this moment. Because I'd known it was coming. Keisha's spending was getting worse. Her hints about needing real income from the property had been getting less subtle. I'd felt the walls closing in. Angela answered on the second ring. Nia? Is it time? It's time, I said. I'm with the family now. She just tried to raise my rent to $5,000. While you're paying the mortgage, Angela said. Perfect. That actually helps us. Shows intent to force you out of your own property. I'll file the paperwork tomorrow morning. Stay strong. I hung up. Everyone was staring at me. What paperwork? Devin asked. Eviction paperwork, I said, looking at Keisha. You have 60 days. Same as you gave me. Except I'm being generous. I'm not charging you back rent for the last 11 years. Keisha's face went white. You can't evict me. This is my home. It's my house, I said, echoing her words back to her. And I need to start making real money off it. The room erupted. Mama was crying. Marcus was shouting. Aunt Beverly had her hand over her mouth. Devin just sat there staring at nothing. You can't do this, Keisha was screaming now. I'll fight you. I've lived here for 11 years. I have rights. You have 60 days, I repeated. Take it up with your lawyer. Oh wait, you're going to need one first. That'll be expensive. Maybe you should sell your Tesla. Nia, baby, please. Mama grabbed my arm. She's your sister. You can't put your sister out on the street. She was about to put me out, I said, pulling away gently. Where was this energy when she was demanding $5,000? When she called me a freeloader? When you all sat there and nodded? We didn't understand, Daddy said. If we'd known. You would have what? I asked. You think this is the first time Keisha's taken advantage of me? She's been doing this my whole life. Borrowing money she never pays back. Taking credit for things I did. Making me feel small so she could feel big. And you all let her. Every time. Marcus tried to approach me. Look, I know you're hurt, but this is extreme. Don't. I held up my hand. Don't you dare tell me this is extreme. Not after what just happened here. Devin finally spoke. His voice was quiet, deadly. How much else have you lied about, Keisha? Devin, please. Keisha reached for him. He moved away. You don't understand. I was trying to protect us. Protect us. His voice rose. You lied to me about owning a house. What else? The savings account you said you had before we met? Your inheritance from your grandmother. Keisha's silence was answer enough. Devin stood up, grabbed his keys from the counter. I need to leave. I need to think. Devin, don't go, Keisha begged. Please, we can fix this. But he was already walking out. The front door closed with a soft click that sounded like thunder. Keisha rounded on me, her face twisted with rage and desperation. You happy now? You're destroying my marriage. I'm not destroying anything, I said quietly. I'm just telling the truth. That's all I did. I told the truth. The truth. Keisha laughed bitterly. You're being vindictive. You're jealous. You've always been jealous of me. Jealous. I stared at her. Of what? Your lies? Your debt? Your husband who just found out you've been scamming him too. Get out, Keisha hissed. Get out of my house right now. Your house. I picked up the mortgage document, held it up. Read it. Read whose name is on this. I left. Not because she told me to, but because I was done. I'd said what needed to be said. The truth was out there now, floating in the air like smoke that couldn't be waved away. As I drove home, to my house, my property that I'd been paying for all along, my phone started buzzing. Text messages. Voicemails. Aunt Beverly, I'm so sorry, baby. I should have asked more questions. Marcus, call me. We need to talk about this like adults. Mama, please don't do this. There has to be another way. I ignored them all. For the first time in my adult life, I felt light. Free. The weight I'd been carrying, the weight of Keisha's expectations and manipulations and the family's enabling, it was gone. 3 days later, Angela called. The eviction paperwork was filed. Keisha had hired a lawyer, but Angela was confident. The documents didn't lie. The bank statements didn't lie. 2 weeks after that, Devin filed for divorce. Apparently, Keisha had been hiding a lot more than the house situation. Credit card debt. Loans in his name he didn't know about. The vacation home in Hilton Head? She'd already put a deposit down using money from his retirement account. I should feel guilty. The old Nia would have felt guilty. But the new Nia? I'm sitting in my basement apartment. My apartment in my house, and I'm finally planning for my future. I'll rent out the upstairs once Keisha leaves. Or maybe I'll move up there and rent the basement. Either way, for the first time in 11 years, every dollar I put into this property is actually mine. Keisha called yesterday. I let it go to voicemail. She was crying, begging for more time, blaming me for ruining her life. But here's what she doesn't understand. She ruined her own life the moment she thought she could build it on lies and someone else's money. I'm just the one who stopped holding up the foundation. That's not cruelty. That's called boundaries. And I'm never apologizing for having them again.